Are you looking to learn more about your spiritual journey? Are you on a healing journey? Have you tried conventional ways of healing but didn't get the results you desired? If so, this podcast is for you. My name is Reverend Dr. Jackie Cope, and I'm a metaphysical minister, intuitive guide, and teacher. Here at Raven Rabbit, we believe that your ancestors, spiritual guides, and divine self are ready and eager to help you heal and prosper. We approach life, healing, and happiness through a holistic, indigenous spiritual lens to create the lives we want. Join me to radically change your life today. Hello, welcome to the Raven Rabbit Wellness Studio podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Jackie Cope, and I am so happy and excited to welcome you here into this space. This space I've worked really hard to be inclusive, understanding, and just out there living our lives. There's nothing that's too far-fetched or too far out there for us to have a conversation about here. Today is episode 32, and this episode is going to be about my deep dive into human design. So, welcome. If you've been curious about human design, if you've been thinking about doing your own, if you don't even know what that is and want to learn more about it, this is the episode for you. So, I've been doing a very deep dive into human design and I am on fire about it. I am so excited. About a year ago, I did my human design. I follow Danielle McCleary. She's a human design coach and a quantum coach. She's all kinds of things. She's wonderful. And she talks about building your business around human design. And I was like, oh, I got to build a better business. I better do that. So I looked it up. I did it. I figured out some basic things about me, like how I'm a generator, how I have a 1/3. Like I learned the basic things about it. Not a lot. However, I listen to her all the time, but listening more recently and really thinking like, you know what? I think this is the piece that I'm missing in life in general and my business. Like I want to learn more about this. And so I started making my own study guide for my human design. I had printed all of the things before, printed my chart, printed some descriptors. I even paid at one point, like Catherine, the manifestation babe, she did something on this, and I was very excited and intrigued, and I did a little with it as well with her, and I read that whole huge PDF. And so this time around, I was like, I'm getting deeper into this, and my goodness, it blew my mind. Everything in my human design that I'm reading about and learning is exactly what I want Raven Rabbit to be, and exactly who I want to be, and exactly how I want to help my clients. It's like by no accident at all that all of these things are so perfectly aligned. And I think it did start with me. I started with that very early on in with Raven Rabbit. Like I knew the basics of my human design, just a little, and I was building around that, but nothing to the point where I'm going to now. So my human design is I am a 1/3 generator. My authority is an emotional solar plexus, and my important gift is gift 54. And this is where I started going down the rabbit hole more with understanding human design. I really wanted to understand all of these gates, all of these numbers, because there's a bunch. And I was like, I'm going to start understanding that. And I started with my important gift, and then I've just been going down through the list of all the things that I am. And I found this really great quote of what human design is from Jen Zoe. It might be Jenna Zoe or Jenna Zoe. Human design is the contract your soul makes with the universe about who you came to be, what you came to do, and what karma you came to correct this lifetime around. I think that's beautiful. That's so wonderful and exactly how I view many things. Like our souls did come here for a purpose. One of those purposes is to have a human experience. And along that path, we pick all kinds of things to happen, which doesn't impede on your free will. There is a fine balance. You came to learn things, but you also have free will, and that free will determine how you're going to learn those things you've signed up for. But anyways, I have lots of defined centers in my human design chart. I have a defined crown, a defined anja, defined G center, defined spleen, defined sacral, defined emotion, my solar plexus, and a defined root. The things that are not defined is throat and ego. And the throat thing is just so synchronous for me. A few years ago, I went to, I think, a psychic. I was in LA for a conference that I was just intuitively called. Like, we were in a taxi to go to Griffith Park, me and Uber, me and my girlfriend, and I just glanced down a corner as we were driving up. I said, "Ooh, that psychic shop, that looks cool. If we remember that, we should hit that on the way back to our hotel room." And she was like, "Okay, if we remember," because we're like, we'll see where the night takes us, kind of thing. By the time we do the thing at Griffith Observatory, watch all the movies, we might be tired and go straight home. I don't know. But we ended up remembering and we went, and I remembered the street name. So intuitive. That's when the universe is like calling you, because this was not something on my list. I was like, oh, I remember the street name. Oh, here it is. I found it. We told the Uber driver we want to go there. She immediately said to me, "You have a block on your throat." And then she said something really triggering and upsetting to me that I don't think I've shared. She said, "In a past life, you were choked to death. And that's why you have this blockage on your throat. And the person who choked you was your husband. And he's here with you." She's like, "I see him." And I was just like, she's like, "He's got a very strong, intimidating presence, and it's impeding your life." So that was quite a few years ago, actually, before I really dove deep into my spirituality. And I had shared that with my partner, and he was like, we were just astonished, like, wow, that's really interesting. Then I went to Reiki. I've told you guys that I've been to Reiki training. And she told me a very similar thing about how my throat chakra is blocked, and she wants to help me clear it. And she couldn't quite pinpoint like the psychic did with um why, but she knew it was. And then for the first time in my life, through my Reiki class, I felt my throat chakra really get cleared. And what I envisioned when it happened was all of these birds flying away in the distance. And it just felt like relief. And I started coughing when she did. I started coughing, kind of like gagging a little, like I couldn't catch my breath. And she was like, "We've finally cleared your throat chakra." And it was just amazing. And then my partner, he had seen a black shadow around me. And I've brought up this black shadow before in other podcasts. And he said one day he was going to work, and this was a few years ago. He was up early going to work when he used to work, and the he felt something push him down the stairs. And he always just felt something like really negative around us. But after that Reiki session, he too felt it leave. He felt it gone. So then last year I do my human design, and I see that my throat chakra is not defined, and I don't have a single gateway in my throat chakra defined either. And it is just, it's so synchronous that all of these things have come together. And to know that my throat chakra needs a lot of love and support and a lot of healing. And I think doing this podcast and having my business is my soul's way of really trying to heal that past wound I have with the throat chakra and my communication. So, very beautiful, very synchronous, spot on, this human design, because it goes along with everything else I've heard and have experienced. So I started looking into my important gift 54, and it aligns so much with my business and what I want to be. So gate 54 is prosperity seeker, and they have drive. So somebody with this gate creates prosperity as a path to enlightenment. They have ambition, they want to have material mastery, and they care about spiritual growth. And they want to achieve many things and rise up and transform. And for me, this is just so true. It's very much who I am. And so the other part of it is they want to master in the material plane, the time, money, and resources as a path to spiritual growth. And that's literally what my mission is at Raven Rabbit here. Like, I want everyone to have access to life, healing, and happiness. And I want everyone to do that by using their time wisely, their money wisely, the resources that are around them. Those are how you're going to do those things. So you can have a life that you want to live. You can heal the aspects of you that need healing, and you can find happiness here in this existence and in this plane. So, my human design is so connected to my business purpose. So, I'm still learning human design and trying to understand it all, but that's my big gift, gate 54. And that's it's in my sun sign, it's on my conscious side and my personality. On the unconscious side of my sun, my design of who I'm supposed to be, it's the lucid intuitive. The gate name of it is intuitive clarity. And this is exactly who I am too. Big time. Um, Trusting your intuitive knowing. And so if you've listened to my podcast before, you've been on my page, you know that I say that I'm an intuitive guide. And I scoured the internet to try to find like a name of what I am and what I do and why I know what I know. I couldn't find anything that really aligned with me because with my metaphysics degree, like I can be a metaphysics coach, but to me that wasn't like hitting the nail on the head. It just wasn't it. Like, yeah, I can be a metaphysical coach for sure. Definitely. I'm a metaphysical minister. But it feels like it's neglecting this intuitive side of me that I had. And really I'm an intuitive guide. I have stuff on my website like working with me, how I have these things kind of like laid out. Like I'll give an indigenous card read. We'll work with sage, we'll work with crystals. I'll do a meditation with you, but really those are all just guidelines because if I get there and I'm intuitively led in another direction, I'm going to follow it. So none of my coaching sessions are really alike because they're all intuitively led. They're like for the person and what they need. And seeing that in my human design, that intuitive clarity is how I made, it makes complete sense. And so trusting my inner knowing above all else is so important to me and being just in line with that. And so I'm definitely all about that. That is who I am in my sun signs. Now, I also was doing some look into my earth sign, and the earth sign is what keeps you grounded and what makes you stable. And reading these, um one was so spot on. So my personality, my conscious side was gate 53. The spark of alchemy or development. And so I see all of life as an opportunity to grow. And that's what keeps me grounded. That no matter what all these experiences are, what grounds me is I know there's something to learn from this. And I say that all the time. I always say I don't understand why that happened, or maybe we logically can't see why it was just, but we're going to learn something from this. It did not happen in spite of us or any of that. There's something from this. And to have that developmental side really covers my like why I'm a teacher, why I'm a coach, why I'm an intuitive guide, because I really do want to see and point out all the opportunities for growth for myself and for others. I see all of life as an opportunity to grow, and that life holds infinite potential for evolution and for growth. That's totally me. On the other side of that is having too many open loops and no energy to see them through. I think that happens to me sometimes when I get too many projects going. And I think that happened to me in my younger 20s. I was able to rein that in as I got older and more standing in my ground of who I am. And with this human design, that's making that foundation even stronger. Now, on my unconscious side, my human design, it's about shock, gate 51. So it's that I have radical faith in life and I awaken through shock. And so I find that pretty interesting that that's my earth sign, like what keeps me grounded is that there's energy for initiating awakening through the shock of unconditional love. Life is trustworthy because of the curveballs and practices radical faith that every moment is a gateway to divine love. So just like all the shock in the world, like I find peace and stability in the fact that things are never the same. And I that's something I've said on this podcast too, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's really what this is. Like there's going to be twists and turns in life constantly, and we can always rely on that. We can always rely on the fact that life's going to have its ups and downs and shocks. And I find myself grounded in that, which I find very interesting that that's in my human design and what makes me feel stable. I feel stable in the fact that life is very unstable. We know that about in being humans. So this has been my deep dive into human design. That's just my sun sign and my earth. I'm gonna work through all of the others. Oh, and I started reading about my north node. Oh my goodness, that is me too. My north node is gate 13. I have that pulled up on my computer, what gate 13 is. And I was reading it and just saying yes, yes, yes. Here it is. And so, who I'm studying right now, I was intuitively led to her when I Googled search this. Um, Christy Inge, Inge. I've been reading her stuff and her interpretations of the gates, and I love them. They're so wonderful. But I got my human design off of a different website. So, gate 13 is the sounding board. Its official name was the listener. Like my north node, like why I came here, what I came to experience. And what I came to experience is to be a listener. And I definitely believe that, especially as being a teacher and a coach. I want to listen and I want to understand, and then I want to help and I want to guide. So the key words for this is listening with empathy, forgiveness, and being a keeper of secrets. And it's so cute and synchronous. Just last Friday, I had a student come up to me and she was shy to tell me something, and she finally did. And when she was all done, she said, "Thanks for being a good listener." So it's just all those little signs from the universe telling me that I'm on the right path. And it's just so exciting. So if you're building a business or you're looking to get deeper into your spiritual awakening and your spiritual journey, I highly recommend that you look into your human design. There's free websites for it. Just type in, free human design on Google. You're going to find stuff. It's just a little overwhelming because you're going to get a graphic that makes very little sense. It only made sense to me because I understood chakras, so I like kind of understood where we were going with stuff. And then if you know astrology, like it helps because it really gets deep into the planets. So That'll help you as well if you're into that. And if you don't understand any of it, don't worry. Just start Googling them one by one. That's how I started a year ago. Let me just Google what my um, sign is and figure out stuff slowly. It's taken me a long time to get to this point, and there's no need to feel overwhelmed or like you're not good at this. It's okay. You can do it for yourself. We have the internet, we have tools. If you need to work with a coach, there's those too. And you can even work with me and we can get through this because, again, I like to be intuitively led. And I think that a lot of answers that some of us are looking for in our spiritual journey really lie within human design. So, if it interests you, I highly encourage you to do it. I'm going to be sharing more of these as I go through them on myself. So, you're going to get a lot of hearing about gates from my viewpoint and how they've shown up in my life. These first few, though, I just had to share because they directly align with the business that I'm building. And I don't think that's by accident whatsoever. I started with that intention a year ago of making sure my business was more in line with my human design, and following my intuition is something that's become important to me. There's other aspects of my spiritual journey that definitely led me to this point. And yeah, I'm just excited to keep growing in human design. If you have any recommendations for human design, go ahead and comment them. I'm definitely down to listen to anything when I'm in the car about it. Definitely a great learning time. So thank you for listening today, and I'm excited to keep sharing with you. I love you and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you for listening. Expand the life, healing, and happiness of others in your field by sharing this episode. You can get more of my content and other helpful tips by following Raven Rabbit LLC on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Be sure to comment on Spotify and answer the episode's question so I can keep creating content you love and desire. Thank you so much.